My name is Faith. This is my Elfin workshop, and today I'm wearing the overalls that I spent the last few days making on lives here with you. So I had to show them off, try them on for you. After you stuck around for all the work, these took about 3 days. We added the side panel and all the patches and the applique. What do we think? I love them. I think these are super cute and I might just keep them for myself. We shall see. But I'm just trying them on for now. Just a trial run. So today I'm working on a set, a top and a pants in a matching print. This beautiful 90s rayon set that I thrifted. And we're about halfway through, and I think today we'll finish the set. So you can come along the journey as we upcycle this set to give it more flair, more contrast, more of a mixing patterns and color blocking, basically just making it more interesting to reflect, you know, the uniqueness of the person wearing it. So I'm going to, let's see, let me show you what I did since yesterday's live. I didn't do much, I was waiting for you, but I got the pockets ready for the pants. So I just folded a piece of silk there at the top and gave it a zigzag stitch. And I actually really like the contrast thread on this. This is a light blue, just because that's what I had in my machine, but I think it's really pretty with the gold. And then I made a gingham pocket as well, and just folded down the edge. I think I'm gonna leave the edge on the outside to be a raw edge. And then I prepared the sleeves to sew. So this was the bottom of the pants that we cut off, and I just added this panel of silk. And I left the seams exposed. So this is just gonna add a little bit more flair to the sleeve, right? And a nice pop of contrast of another color. Very dramatic. Okay, so our sleeves are ready to be attached. I have the pockets cut out. We have our top that is all open. We cut the side seams open. Right, so now it's really easy to work on. And then the other thing I did was to stitch down the facing that was inside the shirt. Sometimes when this is loose, it gets kind of wrinkled and gets kind of bulky. So I like to stitch it down, and then it's just nice and flat. So that's the front. And I did the same thing on both sides. Yeah, I think this is technically called a placket. This part that like reinforces the buttons. Well, I like to stitch my placket down, thank you very much. I do not want that thing flapping around. I went ahead and cut out the bottom ruffle for the pants. So this will be our bloomer ruffle at the bottom of the pants. I think that will be really pretty. That's ready to go. And then, okay, so we were working with 3 fabrics so far. The original, right, this beautiful rose print, and then the silk charmeuse in this gold color, and then we have the black and cream gingham. So this is already looking really cool, right? But then this morning I was realizing I want even more of the patchworking of the prints. So I pulled 2 more prints to work in. An animal print. I think that would be so nice, especially for fall. And then, this is a bit of a wild card, but not really. A plaid with some red in it. That's the part I'm calling a wild card, because this copper color is gorgeous, right? And it works really well with the roses, but I wasn't expecting to integrate red into this, but it just kind of works. And I'm also realizing, you know, I tend to wear red as like a pop of color. So I have a red hat that I love. I wear red lipstick sometimes, or like imagine like a red shoe. So I like that the red will be worked through now, but in a really subtle way, but it's there. So that way, when you go to pull out the red in your outfit or your styling or your lipstick, you're gonna be picking up that pop of red, or maybe like a red bag, you know, or a red jacket or vest over this outfit. So I'm actually really happy with this little accident. I was just looking for a fabric that would work. This happens to be rayon, which will work really well because the set is rayon. This is just a really simple shirt that I thrifted. You know, it's just a regular button down. And these are a great blank canvas because you can add your patchwork, you can do some bleach distressing. But, you know, me personally, I wouldn't wear this shirt as is. It's just a little too basic. But when you're thrifting and you see colors and fabrics or prints that you like, you don't have to find a garment that you would wear as is. You can just see the potential in the fabric and then, you know, cut that up and use that for another project. And then it takes on a whole new life. So this super simple kind of basic plaid top is actually going to end up taking this set over the top, in my humble opinion, because I think it's a bit of an unexpected addition, and I think it's really gonna add a lot of interest. So here's what I'm thinking. The other day I cut the side panels for the top because I'm going to add side panels to extend the width of the top. Right, so right now the top is open, and I'm gonna just add in a rectangle here. And the other day I had cut 2 of those, thinking that I would do a side panel on each side in this fabric. But silly me, because I like to switch it up, and I don't really like to do the same fabric on both sides, because if there's an opportunity to switch it up, why not, right? The thing is, when I cut these panels, I didn't know I'd be working with an additional print or 2, so now I have that option. So what I'm thinking is, one side will be the check side pattern, and then the other side panel will be this. So I'll just cut out another panel of this. So I'll have the left and the right different side panels. And then from the pants, the bloomers that I'm working on, I'm gonna cut open the side of the pants, take the pocket out, right? And then I'm gonna add in a side panel for some contrast, and also to open up the leg and make it a little more of a wide leg. And so I was just thinking through what fabrics I want to use here. And I think what will work really well is to use this down the side, on the opposite side from where I'm going to have this be the side panel of the shirt, right? So if this is on the left of the shirt, then I would put this on the right of the pants, if that makes sense, because I like to like mix and match. But you know, it would look cool to have the stripe the same on both sides too. That's your preference. Regardless, I like the left and the right to be different from each other. So I'm gonna do that. So one side panel for the pants will be this, and then the other side panel will be animal print. So I'll have one animal print side stripe down one side of the pant, and then I'll also cut some of this for some patchwork on the pants and the top. And there's a little pocket in here that's kind of hard to see. But I'm gonna cut this out and maybe put a pocket on the top and a pocket on the pant, and kind of integrate the animal print. I think this is, well, leopard or cheetah? I never know the difference. So yeah, I think the leopard's gonna take it over the top. The pop of red is gonna add something really interesting, and it's gonna really come together. I'm super excited. So right now, the things I need to do are open up the pants. I'm just gonna cut the side seams open. And then I'm going to cut the panels for the sides, the new panels and the new prints. And then I'm gonna get to sewing. And I think the sewing's gonna move along pretty quickly. And not to fear, by the way, you know, now that I don't need this side panel, right? Because I'm only using one. I'm gonna use this one as part of a ruffle somewhere on the top. So nothing goes to waste around here, even if we've already cut it. You know, it's something we can work with. Okay, so first things first, let's open the pants. Here's the pocket. I'm just gonna go ahead and take that out. Okay, so I just opened up the side seam by just cutting right next to the seam. And then I left the waistband, right? Because I don't want to cut into the elastic. So I just opened it up to right below the elastic. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So now the pants are opened up. And the nice thing about cutting out the side pockets are you get some extra fabric. So this is really good for patchwork or even applique. Look, we got a whole rose there. So I'll just set these aside because I'll definitely be using these, right? Just because we're cutting out a pocket doesn't mean it goes to waste. It just means it's extra fabric, even more abundance. Okay, so now these are all open. I'm gonna cut the side panel to fit. So when I cut into a shirt like this to harvest fabric, hi, welcome. Oh, Gabrielle! My bestie stops in. Oh, that made my day. So when I'm cutting a shirt like this to harvest fabric, I'm also thinking about how to preserve as much of the shirt as possible, right? Because even though, yes, I'm seeing this as fabric, and I'm not gonna wear this shirt as is, I'm still gonna think about how I can make something out of this. Because this can be much more than just the panel of fabric that I'm cutting today. This can go on to be a whole other top that I upcycle. And also, shirts like this are really good to harvest pockets from. So I'm going to seam rib this pocket off, and this will be the perfect pocket for these pants, right? Because on this shirt, this pocket's kind of getting lost because it's just the same fabric. But on this fabric, this pocket is going to really pop. So we just kind of move things around like a living collage. So, Gabrielle, what are you up to? This is my bestie. She's a baker, and she's opening her own bakery. And she is one of the most amazing people I know and one of the busiest people I know. So I can't believe she's in my live right now, hanging out with me. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so I'm gonna cut along the bottom of the shirt. This shirt has kind of a curved hem, and that's not really gonna help me out with the side panel. So I have to kind of remove the curve, right? And then just cut like a straight panel. But I'm gonna cut right along the bottom of the shirt and preserve as much of the rest of the shirt as possible. And you know what would be really cool actually is to give this top a lot of love, right? Like give it the fairy fashion treatment. Patches, contrast pockets, a side panel, cut off the collar, do some bleach distressing and some paint splattering, right? And then this could be like an overshirt for this outfit once this is done, because this coordinate set will have some of this fabric worked in already. So this would be like a third matching piece. Not really matching, but coordinating, you know. So that would be quite the capsule wardrobe. Okay, so I am going to cut off the bottom of this shirt. First remove the curve and then cut our panel. Let's see if you can see here. Okay, so first I'm gonna cut off the curve. I'm just gonna find a straight line, which luckily with the plaid pattern, you can just follow the pattern. Okay, so I just cut off the curve and we'll do something else with that. And now I can cut a nice long panel for the side of the pants. Let's see how much I need. Perfect. Let's see if we can see this way better. Okay, so I need, let me adjust you a little bit here. There we go. So I need this much, which is about the width of the back of the shirt. Okay, so that's one side panel. That's gonna look really good. This is gonna be my other side panel. Somehow, I have to see if I have enough fabric. I think I do. Okay, I'm just gonna press these side panels. Hi friends, welcome in. My name is Faith. I am upcycling a rayon set, top and bottom. We're working on the side panels right now because we're turning the pants into bloomers with more of a wide leg and kind of a flare ruffle on the bottom. So we just cut our side panels, giving these a quick press. Probably should have pressed before cutting, but sometimes when you're trying to cut the garment, it's a little harder to iron it. And then when you cut it flat, it's a lot easier to iron. So now I'm just gonna fine tune what I just cut because it's a little wonky, but that's okay. It's easier to see now that I pressed it flat. There we go. And now so this panel width was defined by just how much was on the shirt that was available. So this is all the width that there was on the leopard. This shirt, as you know, came from a shirt where there was a little bit more to cut from. So technically there's a little bit more width there. So I think I'll just trim the plaid panel to match this one. And that's fine. It's still plenty of fabric for the side. So I'll just use the leopard as a guide now. There we go. And now we have the two side panels, same width. Okay, so that's for the pants. And so because the side panel is coming into the elastic waist, right? Like I didn't cut through the elastic waist. So I need to attach it just into the point. So I need the side panel to go into a triangle shape. So what I'm gonna do is fold the panel in half lengthwise. And then on the fold, I'll just cut up to a triangle and then go down to nothing. So just blending it into a triangle. So now we have more of a triangle shape. And I'm doing the same with the leopard. This is why I don't worry about making the shapes too perfect when I first cut them out, because often I'm trimming them down anyway. Okay, so we've got our side panels cut and ready to add on to the side of the bloomers. I think I'll do that next. And then we'll start pinning on some pockets and some patchwork. So straight stitch. Where are my little scissors? I'm buried in my fabric. Oh my gosh, you guys. I just noticed something totally new that I'd never seen before. Look at this little spider on the rose. There's a butterfly and then the spider. I had seen the butterflies, but I had never noticed the spider. And this is the kind of thing that happens when you upcycle, when you're sewing, when you're working on things. You know, it's a chance to get up close and personal with your creation, and then you see things in a new way. You see things you never saw before. Maybe they weren't even there before, but it's like your attention and your awareness creates them, maybe? I don't know. I thought I knew this print, but I just saw something I'd never seen before. And I love the symbolism of spiders, so that means a lot to me. And not only did I notice the spider in the print, but she was like right where I was gonna sew, so she made sure I noticed her. A spider is like the ultimate mascot for stitch witches and upcyclers, or anyone who sews or weaves or spins, because, oh man, the spiders, you know, they produce this beautiful silk from their own body, and then they use it to create their dwelling, and they create a means to feed themselves and feed their family. And they never worry about holes or repairs, right? If their web gets damaged, they just fix it. By the next day, they've woven a new web. So I definitely love that symbolism. Look how cute this is already. Oh my God, there's just something about merging two different patterns. It's so satisfying. It's like, you know, each pattern is very cool on its own, but then you blend them together and it's like the sum is greater than the parts. All right, so now I'm gonna leave this open, right? I just did one side, and I'm not gonna stitch the side closed just yet because we're gonna add our pockets and patchwork. So I'm gonna go sew on the next side panel here, just one side of this, the leopard. found another spider. That means I have one on each leg. Press. Okay, so I actually cut way more length than I need on the side panel, so I can go ahead and cut that off. And that could be a great little patch. And now I'm just pressing the seam that we just did, because the pressing merges the thread into the fabric and makes for a really strong bond. You know, it's interesting in a world that is currently making a lot of garments that are made to be just worn a few times and then discarded. It's interesting to be working on clothes and garments that the intention is that they will last a lifetime, you know? It's kind of like the antidote to the poison of the overconsumption. We're just remembering that we can make beautiful clothes to last us a lifetime. Not even that they have to stay the same, right? Because they can change with us. And that's why garments can last a lifetime with us. Because if we repair them and keep updating them to reflect who we are, then they never have to get old, right? And we never have to get bored of them. We can keep recreating with them. Especially if it's a good foundation, which then is good inspiration when we're thrifting or adding pieces to our wardrobe. We can look for that quality, right? The natural fabrics, the natural fibers, something that we think is going to last, and really have that intention to keep this item and to care for it. But it does help if it was quality to begin with. Like this 90s rayon. Look at this. It's just so beautiful, man. Oh my gosh. There is no label or brand in this, so I can't tell you like who or where it came from, but I absolutely love the print and the fabric. Okay, so that's one side. That's our other side. Oh yeah, this is looking so good. So now let's do the side panels on the shirt. Why not? And we'll alternate them, right? So I have the leopard on the right side of the pant. Oh no, we're not doing leopard on the shirt. Are we? Wait, do I want to do leopard on the shirt? I was thinking this would be the side panel. Yeah, I think I'll do this. Okay, so we have the plaid on the left side. That means I'm going to do the plaid panel on the right side of the shirt. Oh, I'm just realizing I didn't cut that panel yet. So we'll have to do that. Okay, let's see how much we need. Okay, so I need this much, and the shirt itself in the front here, what's left, it's not going to give me quite the width I need, but that's okay. I'm just going to cut a piece from this side and a piece from the other front and then join them together to be one longer piece. Okay, so I'm just gonna go to the machine and stitch these two pieces together, and then we'll have a nice side panel. Perfect. So I just did a little seam, press that open. And now we have probably even more than we need. Oh yeah, we have plenty now. So this can become a patch, right? Okay, so we have our two side panels, right? So we never have to worry if we don't have enough length. We can just join a couple pieces together, and you know, the seams look cool, or joining the print together at different parts. It just adds to the layering and the patchworking. So I think that's really fun. Okay, so these are our side panels. And now I'm gonna add those to the top. Okay. So, let me remind myself what we said here. The plaid is on the left, so I want the plaid on the right of the shirt. Okay, there we go. And then the gingham is on the other side. Okay, back to the machine we go. It's just back and forth all day. That's how we roll. Okay. Oh my gosh, what is going on with my camera angles here? I also feel like you're falling over. Okay. Oh, I'm doing wrong sides together, leaving all the raw edges as usual. Scraps flying everywhere. Okay, now this piece goes on the pocket. Where's my side panel? Here it is. This is already looking really good. So I just added these side panels, right, to each side. Now I'm going to press that open. And you can see I left all the raw edges out. I'm just going to press in one direction, because this is going to get all frayed and ruffled anyway. I'm not trying to iron the seams to make them perfect. I just want the thread to merge with the fabric and form a really strong bond for longevity. I really love these fabrics together. It's gonna look so nice too when it's out of the wash and this is all like perfectly frayed. Yeah, so pretty. Okay, so now we've got the side panels going on. I think it's time to do the patchwork of the top and the bottom. Okay, so that's the side panel, right? And that's ready to attach there. And then this one will go there. And then we're gonna add our fairy sleeve. We're gonna add a ruffle here at the bottom. It's all coming together, step by step, baby steps. Okay, so let's do some patchworking and pinning and place the pockets. Let me make some space, because this is when we need to spread out. Okay, we'll do the pants first. So this is the top. I set that aside. So my pockets. Need to cut pockets out of that. So my bloomers. Extra fabric. Okay, so The thing with the patchworking on these is that I love the print so much as it is. So I don't really want to cover the roses necessarily, right? Like I love this pattern. So I'm thinking instead of just patching on the pants, maybe I'll add a patch to the pocket for some contrast. Right? Like that's kind of cute to break up all the gingham here. And then maybe a little patch on this pocket to break that up. That's super cute because then you still get the patchwork effect, but I'm not covering up these beautiful roses more than I have to, you know. I'm putting these pockets on because that will serve a function, but otherwise I wouldn't really want to cover the roses. But now we get the best of both worlds. Okay, so I'm gonna zigzag stitch on these patches onto the pockets and then come back and pin the pockets down. Just gonna give these a quick press. Okay, I'm gonna be pinning on the pockets. I'm gonna do this one higher up, and then I'm gonna set this one lower down, kind of like a cargo pocket. I think that would be nice. Taking this to the sewing machine. I'm going to attach the pockets with a straight stitch, and then I'll go around the border of the pockets with a zigzag. This is looking so good. Oh my God. I think this is going to be a pretty dramatic before and after. I do often forget to take really good pictures for the before, but you know. You've been here for the transformation. That's all that matters. Hello, if you're just joining, welcome to the Fairest Realm. My name is Faith. I'm a Stitch Witch, and I am currently working on upcycling this cute set, transforming from a basic pair of pants to patchworked bloomers. So I just was sewing on these pockets. Nice big slouchy pockets, and I have a side panel going, and I'm gonna add the bloomer ruffle at the bottom, and these are just gonna go from basic to full of life. I'm already loving this combination of the prints. So I left everything raw edge, right? I didn't fold down the edge of the pocket, but I did a zigzag around the edge. So we have a nice strong pocket, even though it's gonna be full of raw edges, right? We have the straight stitch and then the zigzag, so very, very strong pockets. I'm just giving these a quick press. Ooh, look how pretty the contrast thread is on that. I love that. See, I don't think I could ever have planned that. That's just a happy accident because the blue thread is what I had in my machine. And I don't change colors to match fabrics. I just use what I've got. And actually, it ends up looking pretty cool in the end. I dare say it might be a signature of mine to use contrast thread. I just think it's a little more interesting, right, than matching everything. Okay, so we've got the front of our pants pretty complete. Now I want to add least one pocket to the back. So I'll do that now. And the pocket that I want to add is actually going to come from this top. Which I was cutting up for the side panels. And now I'm just going to seam rip this pocket off of the shirt. There it is. And use that for the back pocket of the pants. I think one of my favorite things about working with textiles and or clothes or upcycling or sewing in general is that like nothing's ever final, you know? Like this pocket was stitched on this shirt, and yet here I am undoing the stitches, and I'm gonna move this pocket somewhere else and stitch it back down, but it's like nothing is getting ruined in the meantime, you know? It's by taking this apart, like I'm just able to keep using it and reusing it. I think I really enjoy about sewing that it's just a matter of a stitch, you know, and it can always be taken out or redone. Like nothing has to ever be permanent or final or fixed, like forever fixed in one place or ruined if you try to move it. You know, like maybe some things are that way, I don't know. But with sewing and stitching, it's very malleable. There's a lot of wiggle room. Okay, so this is my little pocket. Actually, it looks like it was cut on the bias. So it has a nice little bit of like a drape to it. I'm going to, yeah, leave the top sewn the way that it was, but I'm going to let the edges fray out. So I might just give this a quick little press and like open up the pocket. There we go. And now I'm going to pin that on the back of the pants. Stitch that down. And then I'm going to start adding the bloomer ruffle. Okay, so let's pin this down on the pants. That looks good. Hi there, welcome if you're just joining. I am upcycling a pair of pants into patchwork bloomers. Just added a pocket and I'm just pressing it out, and then we're going to sew on the bloomer ruffle, which will definitely add a wow factor to these pants. Just you wait. Okay, so we got the front pockets and the back pocket now stitched on. There we go. And time to create the bloomer ruffle. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. So I cut out some silk, this beautiful golden silk. This might be wider than I need, might be more length, but that's okay because I could always cut it off. But I think I'm gonna start with a really deep bloomer ruffle because we can always give her a haircut and shorten her. But I think a really long ruffle will look really cool on these pants. So I'm not gonna actually pin. Since these pants are nice and opened up, right? Because we opened them up at the leg. I'm just gonna take this to the machine and sit down and, you know, pinch pleat this on, raw edge. So let me just show you what I'll be doing, because maybe it's hard to see at the machine. Okay. So this is the bottom of the pants. And now I have this bloomer ruffle that I want to add, but I want it to be gathered, right? A pleated ruffle. So what I'm going to do is actually just overlap the gold silk right on top, right, with about an inch overlap. And I'm going to sew straight for a little while, and then I'm going to start just folding. It's just that simple. Little folds every couple inches, a little pleat, and just do a straight stitch as I go and keep adding little pleats. And if I run out of fabric, I can always cut more, so that's why I'm not pinning. Okay, here we go, back to the machine. Let me get my ruffles ready. Okay. Here we go. This is very exciting. So I was running a little short with the bloomer ruffle. So I just cut a little more silk and I'm just gonna overlap it right on. Oh yeah, that looks really good. Okay, so I always do a double stitch. So I'm just gonna turn this back around and go back the way I came with a double stitch. Oh yeah, that looks so good. Ah, lost my scissors again. Here they are. Okay, let me just show you how this is turning out before we sew the other one, because we just have to take a break and appreciate the process. Oh my gosh, look at that. So this is the right leg of the pants. So it's still open on the side, right? But you can imagine when this panel is closed up that we'll have, look at that. Such a beautiful pair of bloomers. Oh yeah, I like that a lot. I might end up taking an inch or two off of the length here, but I'm gonna leave it long for now until they're all done, and that's something I can do at the very end. Okay, so far so good. Now let's do the other leg like this. So see, I just did the double stitch. This is all raw edge, just overlapped right on top. Right, so then the inside is nice and pretty. And then the outside is gonna fray really nicely when we wash and dry with this silk raw edge. I think this is gonna be so good. Okay, to be continued. broke my thread. Oh dear, what's happening here? A moment of technical difficulty in the Elfin workshop. Let's look under the hood. See what's going on here. Okay, we have plenty of thread in the bobbin. That seems fine. Okay. All right, should be working now. Let's see. I'm just gonna test a scrap. Let's see, is that working? Okay. We're back in business. I don't know what that was all about. A glitch in the matrix. Okay. We're almost done double stitching this bloomer onto the pants. Let's go. Almost finished. Okay, the moment we've all been waiting for. Look at these. I can't wait to try these on for real. Okay, so the next thing, really the last thing I have to do on these is close up the side seam, right? Because we added the side panel. So I'm just going to take the side of the pants, the part of my panel, and sew that down raw edge, right? Leave the seams exposed. Do the same thing on the other side, close it up. And then we have our pants and they're complete. From there, the last thing I'm going to do is try them on, check the length, and make sure, is this a good length of the bloomer ruffle? If anything, I might want to trim it up a little. We'll see. And then I like to add like a contrast little ruffle at the bottom of the bloomers. That's totally optional, but I like to do that for the color. So I think I'll just cut some black fabric or some of these scrap fabrics that we're working with, and then on the bottom of the bloomer do like a tiny little ruffle in a darker color. I think that will finish it off really nicely, but I won't add the ruffle to the bottom, right, until I have the finished length of the bloomers. So that'll be the last thing I do. Okay, so I'm gonna close up the side seam. Well, I'll give these a quick press first. While the side is open, that'll be easier to iron. Okay, we'll do that. And then I can start sewing the top. It's very exciting. Okay, just checking in with everybody. Hello and welcome. If you're just joining, my name is Faith. I'm upcycling this beautiful set. Oh, it says hello. Where are you from? You're from Italy. I'm not from Italy, but I did live there for a year. I currently live in Massachusetts in the United States. So I'm on the East Coast. And yes, I'd love to hear about you. Where's everyone coming from? I had my bestie drop in earlier. That was exciting. But you know, the beautiful thing about going live is you know, we can just feel like we're all besties here. Just hanging out, chatting. And actually, funny story, the way that I met this bestie, Gabrielle, was actually thanks to the internet and technology and the World Wide Web. She actually had a podcast that I loved listening to. And she's in California and I'm in Massachusetts. So, you know, never in a million years did I think I would meet her. I just was enjoying her podcast. And I was just this anonymous listener in the ether, tuning in to her beautiful podcast. And then through, you know, a synchronistic chain of events, as is bound to happen in this magical life, we were actually brought together in person and got to meet, and now we're best friends. So that really is the potential of finding each other online, right? It's like you may meet a future best friend right here on YouTube. All the kindred spirits coming out of the woodwork. We're all finding each other. And that is actually pretty much the whole point of going live. Is to broadcast this beacon, right? This is the fairy beacon, the unicorn beacon, and I know my fellow fairies and my fellow unicorns will pick up on this beacon. Okay, so I just pressed out a little bit of the seam there. I'm not going to worry too much because I'm going to wash and dry this, so you know that'll get the wrinkles out. But I just wanted to press the seam to reinforce it with the heat. Okay, now the last sewing for the pants is closing up the side seam. Okay, let's freaking go. So exciting. My roll of silk. pants are pretty much complete. So cute. I will definitely be trying this on for you. By the end of the live, I'll put the pants and the top on, just so we can see, because it's hard to tell until you try it on. Okay, so pants done for now. And then let's work on the top. So we have our side seams on, our side panels onto the top. And that means I can start working on the sleeve, which I have ready to go from yesterday, right? And the sleeve, the fairy sleeve, was just the bottom of the pant leg that we cut off. And then I added a little bit of the silk here for even a little bit more flare. And now I'm just gonna lay this down and match this up with the shirt. So here's the shirt, here's the sleeve. And the sleeve is wider than the shirt, which means I can do some pleating. So I'm thinking a pleat in the center could be really nice. Or even like two little pleats that face each other. So this was the center of the sleeve. I think that's what I'll do. So I'm gonna pin this. So I'm just overlapping this sleeve on top of the top fabric. And first I pinned both ends, and now I'm gonna work in the middle. Work my way in. And then whatever fabric I'm left with in the middle, I'll pleat together. So it will end up looking a little bit like this, you know, and this is the back of the shirt, right? So you see this a lot in the back of the shirts. This is the shoulder part, and then there will be this little pleat on the back of the shirt where the two sides of the fabric meet each other and then open up for some more volume. So that's kind of what I'm creating here. Oh yeah, that's gonna be really pretty. I'm sure it's hard to see, but okay. So this is ready to sew, and I'll just get the other sleeve ready as as well, while I'm at it, okay, we're ready to sew the sleeve. Gotta get my ball of pins. just looking for these scissors. Okay, so we have one sleeve attached. We're going to add the final sleeve. And then we're going to get a chance to sew up the side seam and try it on. It's going to be like instant gratification. I'm going to give this a quick press and then come right back and sew the side seam. So this is the seam that I just did, a double stitched seam. This is our little pleat in the middle of the sleeve. It's very subtle. But it's nice to know that if you have more fabric and you're trying to fit it in somewhere, that you can just pleat it and fold it, right? Okay, now we're gonna stitch up the side seams. guys, this is coming out so cool. Wait till you see this. I'm just gonna do the other sleeve, and then we'll have a little try on. A little fashion show for ourselves. Okay, here we go. Of truth. Okay, this is just a quick little try on here on the fly. All right, how are we doing here? So what's left to do on the top is add a ruffle, right? I think I'm gonna use this silk and do a little bit of a ruffle here, all around in the back. And then I'm possibly thinking about adding a pocket on the top, maybe like right there. But other than that, I think we're in really good shape. So we've got our side panels. Yes, love. Got our little back pocket. Oh yes, look at this beautiful fairy sleeve. This top is already so much better than just the little short sleeve, I think, in my humble opinion. I just love a big flowy sleeve. Yes, and I like this little contrast that we did there. Right, and we've got our contrast side panels. Oh, I love the animal print. Yes, very cool. I don't know if you can see how cool these bloomers are. Also, I have to really, style it up. I think like with some Doc Martens, with some boots, the whole thing. Okay. Oh, the other thing I'm thinking through is the neckline. It's kind of like a wide neck. So I don't know, I was thinking adding a little leopard maybe. I don't know. So we have, this was a shirt. This was a button-down shirt, right? So I have this, the collar of that. Let me, you know what? Let me just cut it off real quick and let's see. While we just have it on here. Like maybe adding a little band, not all the way to the front, but just a cute little, right? That breaks up the pattern. It kind of fills in the neck a little bit. It gives it a little more detail. I like that. Versus just having a blank open neck. It's like something's missing. You know, you could wear a scarf or something. But this way, if you have a little trim, a little detail, that just makes it pop, you know. And then you can still wear your scarf or whatnot. So I think, yeah, I'll do that. I'll add a little contrast. And then this shirt has these little pockets on there, which are hard to see because they get lost in the print. But I'm thinking I could cut out these pockets and that could be one for the shirt. Okay, let me cut this real quick. Okay, so I cut out the whole entire pocket, like as a patch almost. So I have the pocket on the shirt and I just cut the whole thing out. And I think that's kind of cool because the pocket itself is really small and I think I would want a little bit of a bigger patch. Like that feels like a good size. Maybe I would trim just a little bit more, but I think the pocket on its own would be too small. I don't know, maybe not, but I kind of like the idea of stitching it on and then leaving the raw edges. You know, I think that could be kind of cool. So yes, here we are so far. And then I'll just have to cut some of this silk for the ruffle for the waist. But now I'm just wondering, is this too much leopard close together? Decisions. I'm just thinking. What are our other candidates for pockets? Let's see. We could do a pocket in this. That's actually really cute. Because then it picks up the pocket on this side, the gingham pocket, and then it's not too much leopard. Yeah, I think that's cute. A little pocket right there. Oh gosh. Now I don't know, honestly, because I almost just hate to cover the rose print. It's so pretty. Like my goal was to work in the leopard on the top somehow, right? Because we have the leopard on the pants. I was thinking that this pocket could be cute, and it is. It is. But I don't think I would do both. So now I have to decide, do I really like this neck? I really do. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna add the neck, and then I'm gonna add the ruffle. And then I can always go back and add a pocket. Maybe that will be like a last minute decision. But yeah, we've got our work cut out for ourselves. We'll do the ruffle, we'll add this, and we'll be in good shape. And then maybe even if we have time today, we could work on this. So I'll put this on in the meantime. And start getting a feel for this piece. I already have some ideas for her to be like a third piece in the set. With these tops, what I usually do is cut the collar off, leave this band, but cut off the collar, and then open the side seam like we just did, add a contrast panel, and in this case, I cut off the bottom, so I'd probably add a little bit of a ruffle, add some patches, do some bleach distressing. I like to totally change the sleeve, as you know, so I'd probably do either a fairy sleeve or like a really wide band, like a loose kimono sleeve. I do not like these button sleeves like this. It just makes me feel like I'm going to the office or something. I don't know, it's too tailored for me. So I always change the sleeve. But I think this could be really cute, because we've got this same fabric on this side panel, so we can kind of integrate it in. Okay, so okay. Okay, so I'm gonna cut the ruffle for the waist. This will be the ruffles. So we got 2 ruffles. That may be enough. We may need a third. Maybe I'll start with that and I can always cut more. Okay. So I'm going to sit at the sewing machine and add the ruffles to the hem of the top. And that's pretty much the final step, except the little neck. Adding that panel. Okay. Double stitch. have one more little ruffle to do. Okay, the home stretch. Okay, my friends, you've been so patient. Let's try this on. Oh, let me give her a quick press. The suspense is killing me. Okay. Ready? Yes. Oh, I love this so much. What do you guys think? So we really just added side panels everywhere, right? Remember, we left the back a little longer. I love that. I love this little step on the side seam. Shorter in the front, longer in the back. I love the two different ruffles. And then the last thing will be adding the little animal print collar, but I don't know where it went. It's fallen down here somewhere. We'll find it. But yes, thank you for hanging out with me while I'm sewing this. I'm really excited to wear this a lot in the fall. I'm so glad I added the long sleeve. And I'm loving the bloomers. So I'm gonna do a few things to finish this garment. I'm gonna add the neck band, and then I'm going to probably finish the edge of the sleeve with like a micro ruffle. I'm not sure which fabric I'll use, probably something with contrast. So that way the sleeve is nice and finished in some way. And then I'll do the same thing on the bottom of the bloomers. I'll add a little ruffle, tiny little ruffle, like an inch to the bottom edge. And that just finishes things off really nicely. I'll just show you an example. This is a sleeve that I did with the ruffle, right? So you just have that little edge, that little border. And it actually makes a big difference, I think, especially if it's a contrast color and you can see it. So you can finish your sleeve with just a little ruffle. So the same principle of what we did here, but just a tiny one. And I think that looks really, really nice to finish an edge. So I'll do that. And then I think I'm gonna start working on this shirt and making this like a third piece that can go with this. Because, you know, I have some extra fabric from this. So imagine adding this to the top, right? Like that would be so pretty. You know, for instance, you could add, why is this not going to stay on here? You know, imagine adding like a patch pocket of this fabric. Right? And then it becomes another layering piece. So I think I'm gonna work on that next. Oh wow, we are at 156 minutes and my battery is about to die. So I think this is a great place to end it for the day, my friends. Thank you so much for hanging out with me in my Elfin workshop as I upcycled this really fun Co-ord set full of patchworks and pockets and bloomers and fairy sleeves, all my favorite things. I will be back tomorrow afternoon and I'll have this all washed and dried. I'll probably be wearing it. Maybe I'll even have this piece ready to show you. And then tomorrow we're gonna get back to the denim collection, which you see behind me, because it's time for the denim collection to be shared with the world. So I'm working on finishing this up and getting it all ready to share with you. So you can come along with me as I make the next few pieces to finish this collection. But this was a quick little side project, a side quest, because this is from my personal wardrobe. At least I think it is. Unless one of you out there loves it so much that you can't live without it, I may consider parting with her. You know, because honestly, I find so many gems at the thrift store. I'm sure you do too. There's no shortage of gems, that's the thing. So I don't really want to hoard all this amazing stuff. The thing I care the most about is making sure that each amazing piece that I make or upcycle just finds a happy home. That's all I really care about. So for right now, I think I'm the happy home for this outfit. But then again, I'm willing to part with it for the right person, if you think it's for you. So I'll just be working on finishing this. I'll check in with you tomorrow and we'll keep going. Thank you all so much. I'm just seeing all your comments and I love it. I'm always happy when people ask me questions because I love to chat with you here. That's the beauty of going live, right? Is we can have a conversation. So check back in tomorrow. We'll have tea, we'll chat, we'll sew. You can help me finish this denim collection and we'll go from there. Well, until then, I wish you well and I'll see you very soon.